President Obama has been teasing us today his new jobs plan, but won't tell us until after Labor Day. In the meantime, the House Republicans are trying to beat him to the punch. House Majority Leader Eric Cantor announced the proposal earlier today to the Republicans. So what is it? Well, let's ask Georgia Congressman Phil Gingrey. He joins us. Good evening, sir. So the Republicans are trying to beat the president to the punch a little bit. What's the Republican House plan on jobs?
Well, Greta, before I get to that, let me just touch on the last clip in regard to this gentleman from Princeton that's coming on board with the Obama administration, the Council of Economic Advisors. Hey, if he is going to recommend a consumption tax, I think the Senate should confirm him 100%, and let's get this guy on board. We've been waiting for the fair tax for a long time, and I say hoorah if he's going to do that.
All right, well,
but in regard,
I guess he has your vote.
He's got my vote if that's what he's going to do. But no, as far as our jobs program, Greta, as the majority leader, Eric Cantor, announced, I guess today, earlier today, that as we go back, and he set a schedule for this, back in February, I think February the 11th, we passed House Resolution 72 requiring each of our committee chairpersons in the House to look at different rules and regulations of agencies under their jurisdiction that needed to be either reformed or repealed. And they have done a fantastic job. I'm on the Energy and Commerce Committee with Fred Upton and the other committees. We've come up with a number of things. So there are 10 specific rules and regulations that over the next several months leading up to the winter and spring of next year, we will be moving to repeal those regulations because they're job killers all across the board. These utility MAC and cement MAC and farm dust and fly ash from the coal mines of West Virginia, all of these things are killing jobs, Greta.
All right, is it possible, because, I mean, this is really going to be a declaration of war come next week. When the president comes back with his plans, the Republicans are going to try to block him, and the Democrats are going to try to block your ideas. Would it be at all possible or improbable that the regulations that you don't like, rather than repeal them right now, let's get a moratorium on them in an effort, if you think it's such a good idea, to really sort of rev up the economy? I don't know, so rather than sort of the more, the harsher thing, which would be to change it right away and have a war with the Democrats, what about a moratorium on some of these?
Greta, I love that. You know, the EPA, of course, created back in 1970, and supposedly employing many scientists and folks that know what they're doing, some 17,000 of them with a current budget today of $20 billion. I was thinking about this on the way down to the studio tonight. Why don't we just send those yo-yos home for about 2 years with pay, and I think we'd be a lot better off if we would do that and let this economy get motivated, and let's get out of the station and start creating some jobs. And I don't think the country is going to go to hell in a handbasket in the meantime because of pollution of the air, water, or land.
Well, I'm certainly not. Let me just get straight. I don't mean to suggest I'm in any way in favor of any pollution of anything. You probably wouldn't like a lot of my ideas on it. But what I'm saying is that in recognition of the fact that we really are in an economic crisis, there are many Americans hurting, and to try to sort of avoid a war, and I see the fight right now over the regulations. If there's some sort of way where we could just put the fight on hold for 2 years while we try to rev the economy up, I don't even know if that's the least bit practical. It might even be not practical.
Well, I think it is. Greta, I think it is practical, and I'm all in favor of that. And of course, we have other tools that we can use. The Congressional Review Act, as you know, I guess it was passed in the mid-90s. We've only used it twice now, but the latest iteration of that was in regard to the FCC. They wanted this net neutrality rule. The broadband industry and the internet has flourished under deregulation, if you will, and now all of a sudden this is a regulatory hammer looking for a nail. And in the House, we under the Congressional Review Act, we repealed that rule, and it's sitting in the Senate right now. Harry Reid is sitting on it, and all he's got to do is bring it up, and let's get rid of that. So there are a number of ways that we can do it. We want to cooperate with the administration. We want to pass the 3 trade agreements that we've been waiting for, what, 3 or 4 years with Colombia, Panama, and South Korea, and yet President Obama, excuse me, will not submit those trade agreements to the Congress. We passed patent reform law, and we're waiting on the Senate to deal with that.
Congressman, I got to go to break, but I'm sure you and the President have a lot to talk about come next week when everybody's back in town. He's already here, so come on back. Thank you, Congressman.
I'm looking forward to it, Greta. Thank you.
Straight ahead, big news tonight about the